I read about these two comedians, I think something like R. Vadivel, I believe, in those days, 60s and 70s in US, Tommy and Dick. And once Tommy was quite sad and despondent, and Dick was asking, Tommy, what is it that you're so sad about it? He said, are you worried about poverty in the country? He said, no. Are you worried about hunger in the country? He said, no. Are you worried about war in the country? He said, no. Are you truly worried about the nuclear power and the impact that it's going to have in US? He said, no. Then what is it? And he said, it's the apathy of the Americans. So we are not talking about Americans, the same apathy is in us too. And what's apathy? And I wish to project, yes, I don't care. Lots of things happening around. I don't care. So that attitude is quite dangerous. If I'm responding to it, then I start a significant life and I start an intentional life. And there were people of eminence. There was a book called Cradles of Eminence, in which there were 300 people are listed down. A sample I had given here: Roosevelt, Helen Keller, Freud, Albert Einstein, Winston Churchill. In this list, 3/4 of these people, they've come from poverty background, broken homes, difficult parents. And there are lots of poets and the writers of fiction, all these authors. 75 out of 85 authors, if you take that proportion, they all have written about the tense psychological drama that was played by the parents. That means that's what they were experiencing. So it's not that they all had a significant living because their lives was cozy woozy at home. No, they too had difficult times. And 1/4 suffered with physical handicaps. Adversity tried to knock at the doors, but they did not allow it to happen because they wanted to have intentional living. We may say, there are lots of setbacks like this. Each one of us can give a list of setbacks. This is the problem. Then why should I have to talk about intentional living? Maybe let me work till I retire, earn and save for the family and then put an end to it. It's not intentional living. Intentional living is making an impact in the society. So anybody can have it. So put significance in your story, in your intentional living, significant story. There was a novelist, Ernst, and he said the first draft, what he wrote, was only a scrap. We know what is a scrap. Kuppaila thooki podra paper. Appadha irundha. But he received Nobel Prize later for literature. When I was reading about it, one thought came to my mind. When I was a student, in those years, English medium schools were quite rare. We all studied in Tamil medium up to 11th standard. It was 11th standard, not +2. And there was a classmate in my own class who was also from a Tamil medium school. She was somewhere from Bodhi or so. And later, I finished BSc chemistry, both of us. And then I went in for MSc and then came in for job. She went in for MSW, Masters in Social Work. And then she went to NIMANS, Bangalore, did her PhD. And then she settled down as a consultant, a social worker. At that time, once she told me, the first English letter that she wrote, with all mistakes, she has framed it and she has displayed it in her drawing room, I believe. So whoever who comes into the house, she will say, this is the first letter that I wrote. And today, she is a board member. She sits in lots of international boards in Delhi. And I'm so proud of her. And I keep talking about it in lots of classes. And a week, before I got retired, the last week we had an interview. At that time, there was one particular candidate who told me like any impressive things that you learned. Then she told me, I forgot completely about it, ma'am. When you were teaching one class for us, you mentioned about one of your friends who had written the first English letter with all mistakes, and she has photographed it, and and that was hung in her house at the drawing room. And that made me, from wherever I come, I can also grow up. See, this is ripple effect. This is ripple effect. So what she did, I shared, and that had really affected this girl. And today she's a teacher. She can share this to quite a lot of students in the classroom. So ripple effect it can have. So it's not that the first draft needs to be the best one, but we need to make a start. So that's what this person said. Jim Collins, about whom I made a mention of it. Yes, there were some questions raised to Jim Collins, I believe. What is required to bring about positive changes in the society? Otherwise, what is required for significant living? And this is what he says. If you need to be a catalyst for significance, the first one is about talent. Can you be the best in the world at what you do? Best in the world doesn't mean always number one. It should be my excellence. Up to my best I need to do. My best measurement will be different from Sir's best. Of course, definitely Sir's best will be very, very high. So we cannot compare in terms of that. My best I need to do. I strongly believe all of us have some talent or the other. Because I have a deep conviction, everybody is created in the image of God. And that is why I keep on. I used to always say, tell my colleagues, never write off any student in your classroom. Everybody has some good in them, some talent in them. It is the responsibility of the teacher to identify it and then multiply it. You cannot say, nee padikave mudiyadhu, makku. Sollave kudadu. No. Everybody has a talent. So you and me, we have a talent. Your talent will become the leverage in your life for creating the significant story you want to live. So maybe as a homework we can do sometime later. Apart from my legal profession, what is the talent that I have? That's of course for my livelihood. And that might have created lots of other talents also in us. That's there. But what do I do with that talent? So he talks about the talent. Then he talks about the passion. Are you passionate about what you're doing? And this is a very, very beautiful word, passion. And in Tamil, if we need to say, heart full and mightellam pottu pandrathu. My heart, my mind, my physique, everything you put in and you do with that. Full commitment. Significance begins when we desire to make a difference. Passion is the soul of significance. It's like a fuel. So unless there is a passion in what I do, I cannot run further. I cannot continue to run as a significant person. He talked about talent, he talked about heart passion, and then he said, tools. Do you have the resources to change the world or to have a significant living? The resources will show you the way so that you can become highly intentional and live a life that matters. Yes, sir. Thank you. So what kind of a resources that I can, that's available to me? Today, lots and lots of resources are available. Not necessarily you have to go and buy books. Get into internet, lots of things are available. Plenty of things are available. It's a knowledge archive that's available. So how am I going to use these tools? So when I use my talent, my passion and resources, that can make me to become a significant person. When you want to live intentionally, this is something important. I need to make a change. It's not the way that I have been living so far. What kind of a change that I'm going to make? What changes? Reaffirming the values. I'm going to touch upon 4 values that transform one person as a value-based, principled leader with a significant life. 4 important values. These values need to really change me. Then the outcome is, there is a fulfillment in my life. Sir was talking about everybody need to be happy and we need to really enjoy the life. How is it possible? Only when you and me, when we have the inner fulfillment. If your life changes, we can change the world too. So change is a buzzword. Today the buzzword is GST outside. So for us the buzzword is change. So what kind of a change? It's not only today. Every phase of life there has to be a change.